Put on my gloves. Good morning, guys. Take a little walk. It is. I found out something else that's really neat, guys. I was worried about being kind of cold here, and I woke up this morning. It's 20. Well, I don't know. It was 11 degrees when I woke up, and I sat in the car and warmed up for a minute. But a few minutes later, the sun came out, and it's 23 degrees, which is very cold. I mean, 32 is freezing. So it was 10 degrees below freezing. And I got out in the sunshine. I'm walking. It might be 25 now, but it looks like a summer day, don't it? But it's like 25 degrees. And you put some, jacket and maybe a hat and gloves, and it might as well be summertime in Arizona. You know, it's nice. It's very pleasant. I'm not worried about the cold weather anymore. And look at this. This is an oak grove. It's not just a couple little bushes. These are like little oak trees. There's a whole grove back in here. When the leaves come out, this will be like a little oak grove. Isn't that neat? But still waiting on. I've lost my plat map or whatever in the exact GPS coordinates for all four corners. So I just messaged the people, the real estate company that I bought this from, and asked for all that information. She said she'll get right back to me. So shortly this morning, we're going to find out exactly what I own and what I don't own. Meantime, I'm going to take a little walk. I've got 5G, 4 bars at the top of this hill. Right here, I've got like two bars of 5G. So we got, I don't have to go into town to load. I can just come up here and load a video real fast. Got real good internet. And dogs are really happy. It's all sand. It's nice. I like that sand. Hence, we have sandstone, huh? Oh, man. Oh, man. Now, the one thing I do know is the corner of the property must be right here. So, I think it's from here to that way. But if by some chance this is the beginning of the property and it goes this way, then at least I'll still have this. But I'm really hoping it's this way. We'll see for sure here in a little bit. Tell you what, I'll get in shape here real quick living out here. And it's neat. I'll be happy just to have this little spot right here, but there's a neat trail going this way that we're going to follow. And then the other side of this hill, look at the mountains. Oh, how beautiful. Oh, Maggie. It's beautiful, huh? and there's elk tracks, and there's an elk trail goes across my property. You can see the elk tracks, and they made a little trail. So there's some big elk out here, and probably deer, and and everything else. But elk are something else. I mean, they're big. They're like almost the size of a horse. And one elk will provide a family with meat for the winter. And once all these zombies start, falling over, keeling over, and Billy the gatekeeper's plan is put in place, and the idiots just say, okay, we'll do it. That's what they want, I guess. I don't know. We want to be controlled. Give us a thingy. Well, they'll be dropping like flies, and this whole area will be mine. Nobody out here but me, I guess. So, I don't know. Okay. The fence, evidently, is the line. Basically follows this electric lines. I guess if you wanted to put electricity in, you could. It's to the property, so. But I'm not going to have any electric put in. I don't want it. Probably wouldn't cost much because you don't need another pole. Okay, I'm going to stop here and sit on this rock. She just sent me the coordinates. I'll get right back to you guys. Okay. I just got the best news I've ever received. Second best news I've ever received in my life. Maybe the third. The first one was when they announced that I was about to be born. I wasn't really present in the physical form when that happened, but I was pretty excited when they told me in heaven that I was coming down here. The second one was when my daughter was born. It was the greatest day of my life. There hasn't been a lot of high points in my life, but this has got to be number two, right below. Well, I mean, it's way below my daughter being born. That was the best thing ever could have happened to me, and never will. But this is just the beginning of the first day of the rest of my life in paradise. I just got the exact coordinates. I was telling the Lord just before while I was waiting for them to send it back to me. And I said, Lord, whatever I get, I'm going to be thankful for it. It doesn't matter. Anything out here is beautiful. But Lord, if you could just manage it, that I could own this in particular. And not just because of this neat rock, but because this cliff, I wanted to own everything here up to the second group of cliffs. And there's a few trees down here that I really wanted. I haven't shown you the biggest tree on the property yet. It probably takes 3 people to put their arms around it, the base. And I got that, and I got the big ponderosas and the different trees that I wanted. And both of these cliffs, these bluffs. And I'm going to take you around the property and show you what I got. But I had a strange request. I said, Lord, if you could just give me from this point all the way up to that second cliff, that I could own both cliffs and both of those trees. And Lord, if you wouldn't mind throwing in that little oak grove right down over here. Because, everything out here in the whole area is pines. And by the way, there are fir trees here. There's quite a few fir trees on the property. There's cedars, junipers, fir trees, some other kind of leafy tree that I don't know what it is yet. Ponderosas. And lots of, I would say, caves, little nooks and caves and cliffs. And by the way, I've traveled all around everywhere around here. miles around, and there's no internet service whatsoever in this area except for on this property. And right where I'm standing, I have 5G with 4 bars. Now, the reason why that's important is I had to do my videos. And if I'm out here and I got to drive into town just to do a video, to upload, that would be a little bit of a, problem. So for some strange reason, this particular 5-acre piece of property is the only piece of property around here that gets 5G. And just about the only place I've found, there was a little place up on a knoll way over there, like a couple miles down the road up on a little hill that I got 4G, two bars. But that was it. And it was basically nothing. You couldn't get it just showed an X. Like there was no internet, no data, nothing, no phone service. But here on this property, there's 5G with 4 bars. At the top of the hill here is 4 bars. If you go at the base of this cliff, it's only 3 bars, but it's still 5G. So that's another miracle. But anyway, I said to the Lord, the strange request. I said, Lord, if you can, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. I know you know what's best, and I love you, and I thank you for everything I've received. And I'm not being ungrateful, but if there's a way you can send down your angels and make sure that, somehow or another it works out, that I can get that little oak grove, throw that in, and these 2 cliffs and those 2 big trees, I'll just be so happy and so thankful. I can't be any more thankful than what I thought I had yesterday. Because yesterday I was thinking, I'm going to find out that I don't even own these cliffs or whatever. But I didn't want to, revel in that doubt. I just kept being positive and believing, and I just poured my heart out to the Lord and asked Him to make sure that, if it's possible, if He didn't mind making sure that I got that just if it could be done. I just, made the request. Well, I just found out, this is the corner of my property. And for sure enough, that's what I was thinking. But remember, I don't know if I told you guys, but I was thinking that it would either be from here up or it'd be from here down. Now, if it was from here down, I would not get any of the cliffs, and I wouldn't get my trees. And, I still would have been happy. Plus, there's a guy down there with a truck. So I would have been bordering somebody else's property, and he's building a cabin, and I didn't want that. So I told the Lord all that. And just a few minutes ago, she sent me the coordinates. And this indeed is the corner, and it does go this way. So I was sitting here thinking, oh, darn, well, at least I get this, right? But I might not get that rock. Well, guess what? The line goes right through there. So I even get that rock just like I asked for. Right to exactly what I asked for. I said, Lord, could you give me that? Because I didn't know even if this was, I don't know why somebody's got some bones here. But even if this was the corner, I didn't know if it would go in that direction or, which way. But it goes right through there. So I got that. And I'm going to take you all the way around this property to show you what we ended up getting. This was probably the most important thing of the whole 5 acres, is getting this bluff here with the caves at the bottom of this one, and there's that big tree at the bottom, and this big tree, these 2 big trees on top. And I was really hoping I would get this, for sure, at least this. And of course, this is for sure on the property, but I also got those 2 big trees down there, and this whole area. And there's some oak there, but the oak grove that I wanted is right down there. So this whole kind of thing here, and I got that. So then the property goes up here, and actually she told me that's not the exact coordinates where that is. It's actually back there. See? So it goes to the other side. So I actually own that big rock. I own it. Look at me talk. The Lord owns it, and He's allowed me to live here, and it's just amazing. So I've got this beautiful view. So you come up here, and I found a really neat rock to sit on where you can look at the view. I don't know, for some reason it's just a nice little rock right there for me to sit. And that's where I was sitting this morning looking at the GPS. And you get up here and look at the view, you know. Unbelievable, as I always say. So then I was thinking, okay, let's hope we get that cliff and that little bluff too. Oh, howdy, watch this. So, and actually that tree would be mine too, because the property doesn't go to here, it goes out to over here. But, you know, I wouldn't be building anything or doing anything on this side because it's, you know, I mean, I could, but the best use of the property is over on this side. So I got this cliff too. And I'll show you what's here. This one's almost better than that one. It's just that I wanted that one for sure because of the fact that beneath that one is a cave, kind of a big hole that looks, I'd call a cave. And then these two huge trees. So I was hoping I would go ahead and extend all the way up to here. And sure enough, and this one's neat for a couple of reasons. I'll show you here in a second. But so the property goes all the way. It's kind of a rectangle. It goes all the way up here to this point, to this rock. So I own this side of the rock, not the other side, but all the way up to here, right where those two stones are placed. And so I own a straight line down this side of the cliff. So I got the cliff that I wanted, both cliffs. And this tree. Now this fence is, somebody put it here and they thought this was the line because they put a thing in like over there too, but she told me, she gave me the exact coordinates and she said, this isn't accurate. It actually goes over to there. So that's nice. That means like this little trail, you know, I like this up here. I'll come up here and sit and drink coffee. So anyway, it goes down here. On this side of this cliff, we own everything. And I've already mapped this out. I've got it all lined. So I know the exact perimeters. So I'll probably put, for now, since I can't afford a fence, I don't want fences, you know. But I'll put up a pole or two so that I know where I'm at. But the reason, see, here's another little oak grove that I got. I know they aren't like oak trees, but they're scrub oak, but they are trees. This is a little oak. And so that's what that probably was when I was looking at that tree and it didn't have any leaves on it and I didn't know what it was. It was probably an oak tree, but I'll go back and look. But this is like a little oak grove here that I just now noticed. So I don't own the bluffs from here on, but I do own this right from where I'm standing this way. And I like it because, remember that place in Alabama where I went, some of you may remember, and it had these, it was a cliff overlooking the whole valley, and it had these rocks where I jumped out and I was, you know, I was looking off and I sat at the end and just dangled my feet and looked over the cliff. And I thought, man, that's paradise. If some miracle I could own something like this, I would be. My phone just quit. I guess I had too much stuff in my files. But anyway, I was saying if I could own something like this, like that place in Alabama where I went to, I would have been the luckiest, happiest person on the face of the earth, and I would have no right to complain, you know, about anything the rest of my life. And sure enough, here I am. And I come out here and I've got this amazing little bridge of rocks going out to a little pinnacle that overlooks the whole valley. It's just amazing. And I also don't remember if I had already said this or if it was on the part that got cut off, but I just noticed that I've got this little grove of oaks here too, which is another blessing. So, because I got all the different kinds of trees. You got fir trees, cedars, oaks, everything. So, my camera shut off again right at that point, and it wasn't that it was full. The battery was going dead, so I had to go charge my phone a little bit. Anyway, we're back, and just want to show you this a little bit more in depth, this little cliff again, to show you what goodies I got and how happy I am. Oh, this thing knocks my hat off, these branches and stuff. But it's a big, I don't know, cedar tree or something, or juniper. It really looks more like a cedar. But anyway, yeah, look at all this, you know. Oh, big old cliff like this. And look at that big old tree right there. Okay, we're going to go back to where we were, and I'm going to take you down the line. But before we go back there, I just want to show you this huge tree, a couple of them. So this is the base of the second cliff that we now have confirmed, and that's the other cliff. So we got these two cliffs and all that this entails, and how neat. Look how this sandstone was like, it's just been washed, the sand's washed out or something. And look at this. I don't know if you can see because there's a shadow in there, but it's like this little thingies in there, like a little, like somebody carved that out on purpose or something. And so anyway, you've seen this, and you could stand up there or sit and dangle your feet and look off. And this is that little pinnacle of rocks that jets out. So then here's now this is an oak tree. So there's a big oak right there. I just now noticed that. That's an actual large oak tree. There's actually 3 of them that kind of make one big oak tree. Can you believe that? I got a big old oak tree on my property. That's what this is. Huh. That is so cool. And there's another oak tree. But, yeah. And then this is like another one of these big old trees. Look at that. I mean, it almost looks like a cork tree. In California, we had a tree they called a cork tree, and it's what they actually make cork out of with the bark. But I don't think, I know this isn't a cork tree. This is more like a, it's kind of quirky though. But look at that. Isn't that neat? And in the middle, you've got this area where you could literally, look at these rings. Okay, there and there, down here. I saw that on the other one. But you could have a nice big tree fort up there with 2 stories or something. That is so neat, man. And you can't see how big it is in the camera. I keep saying that, but it would take 3 guys, or at least 2.5 guys. But that's 2 trees probably growing from the same. But it's so neat. And so that's not the biggest one, no. That's not the one I wanted to share. More oaks. I'm showing you all my trees. I'm so proud of them. Okay, so here's a couple trees. Now the line, the border line on this end comes through here. And I just managed to own this tree. I'll call them my cork trees. And this one, look how big this one is. It's not the biggest one yet. But again, it's a biggie. You know? It's a biggie. Huge, huge. Oh, what's that? I hadn't even noticed that thing before. Pretty sized cedar there too. See, that's a different kind. This is something different than that. This is, one's juniper and one's some kind of a I don't know, it might be cypress or something, but what's this? It's a dead tree, I guess. But look how pretty that is. If you were to cut one of those kind of trees open, I guess. Probably. So anyway, the property line comes down through just so I have this big tree right on the side of the tree and goes down through there. But yeah, I did ask the lady if they're today because I was on a text with her getting the coordinates. She's such a nice person. They're so reasonable and helpful. And it's been months since I've texted her. And I said, so I've got a friend. You know, I just said a friend because I know some of you are looking for property. What was that? Oh, the dog. And he's interested in, you know, property in this area, and asked her if she had any more. This little grove. See, these are fir. Some kind of fir. There's different kind of fir. Doug fir. It's not Doug fir. I'm not sure what kind it is. But there's a little grove of them. But she said they didn't have anything in this right here. They did have some near here, but near town or something. I don't know where she meant, what town she meant. If she meant Grants, that's 60 miles away. But I said if she gets anything to give me a shout. So anyway, out here, and I was looking at this. This obviously fills up with water, probably some period of time during the year, maybe for a day or two or a week, maybe a month or two, who knows. But like when the rains come, like in August or not September, but like July, August, they get a lot of rain, the monsoon rains, and you can see where the water just starts running down from here. And this little area here, from the looks of it, is a little pond bed. I know it's kind of an oblong pond, but you know, it's all cracked and stuff. So there's definitely water in here at certain times during the year. And it doesn't necessarily help me, except that I know that there's water that comes down through here, and if I can catch it, then I could keep it to use around here, feeding the animals and stuff, and some gardening if I wanted to. So this whole little area right here is like a little marsh bed or something for a period of time, probably a month or so. So what I was thinking is I could go to the point where it's the lowest and dig it down a couple of feet in a big hole, make a big hole where I can kind of let it, you know, like maybe a 10-foot hole or something, or something, you know, or a bigger pond or something. But even if I just dug a big, like a well 10 feet deep or 20 feet, if I could go that far, I don't know if there's rocks. If there's not a lot of rock, I can go down quite a ways with a shovel. And all that water will run into that. And then you put a lid over it, like a wooden piece of plywood or whatever, and the water doesn't evaporate, and you've got water in there like a well. And that's one way I could get water if this works. I'll have to monitor this to see if it fills up with water or if the water runs through here. It doesn't even have to really fill up with water and stay in here very long. But obviously it stays in here for at least a few days every year because it's, you know, it looks like a dried up riverbed right through here. But all we need is for this to, you know, when there's heavy rains, to have water coming down. And I'll pick the right spot, maybe here or whatever, and I'll make a big hole as deep as I can and put a lid over it, and we'll have a well. And we'll have to check. I don't know if it'll be drinking water, but it would definitely be water. So the property comes out here, way up here. We went down to look at that. I know you guys are probably like, I don't want to see the whole property. What are you doing? Well, I'm proud of it. I just wanted to show you just what I got. It's just, you only get one opportunity to show off something that you got, because I ain't never had anything really worth anything except my truck. And I showed you guys that. That was because of my amazing daughter to help me get it. Okay, got to remember where the line is here. It's up here somewhere. I think it's up here. Anyway, it's up that tree, right up the other tree, the second tree. Somewhere right in there is the corner, and it goes down here along the road, and all those big trees in there up to the cliffs. Not that big, but you know, that's a good sized little area. That's 5 acres. That's what it looks like. 5 acres. And then we own all this along here. I've already got a road blazed in. I've been pulling out some sticks and brush and moving some dead limbs and stuff so that I can get my truck back in there where I want to go. I know where I'm going to put my, you know, my little humble abode or cabin or whatever I'm going to make. This is going to be my driveway. And it's going to go, I've got it already cut through, and I'm already parked in there. But I know, and it goes right to where I want to make the cabin, because I had been picturing in my head, whenever I would think about this property for the past, I don't know, 8 months or whatever I've had it, since August or something last year. I prayed to the Lord the first few things, and the Lord gave me the whole thing. I mean, there's no down payment. I'm only paying $100 a month. $100 a month. I mean, you can't even buy a cup of coffee in a restaurant every day for that, you know. The insurance on my car is more money than this property, and on the truck. And the only reason for that is because I'm buying it from a dealership, and you have to get full coverage. But so it was all miracles. But whenever I would picture it out here, I looked. I'll be darned. It went off again. I don't know. I must be bumping it. I don't know what I did. But anyway, I was like, oh no, I got to go back and reshoot all this that I've been saying for 5 minutes. And I looked down, and it had just cut out. And I don't know why. So anyway, what was I saying? Insurance is okay. So it's $100 a month, and I was picturing this place. Every time I would I'd picture the bluffs and the cliffs, and I pictured a little cabin just to the right of this little bluff that looked just like what I'm seeing here. It's like what I pictured in my mind for the last, since August, what's that? September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Like about 7 to 8 months, I've been picturing this little cabin right nestled under a bluff with this big ponderosa. And there it is. I mean, literally to the T. What I was picturing. And so that's why I was going to be kind of disappointed if I didn't get that bluff when I came out, because I couldn't tell for sure, you know, where the property started when I got out here. And then I realized I didn't even have the GPS for all the 4 corners, so I went and contacted her, and she's so kind that she gave them right to me. So here's, I don't know now if it's there, or I think it's right around in here. Yeah, I think right here. This is because I went walking this way. Yeah. No, actually it was I walked this way. This is somewhere around here. This is the corner, and it goes all the way up through here. It's weird because it isn't really a rectangle. It's a little thinner on that end and wider on this end, but it's, other than that, it's kind of a rectangle. But there's just no way to get around it. I've done this now many times, but I'm getting better at it because your faith begins to build when you practice this. And so if you guys listen to what I'm saying, it doesn't take some kind of special guru. Forget all that. There ain't nobody on the face of this earth. I would never call anybody your guru or your overseer or reverend or father or even a sage, or, you know, I know we make use of those terms because people do that, but nobody is better at any of this. I mean, one of the greatest people of all time would probably be one of the apostles, Peter, who denied the Lord 3 times. Right when Jesus is dying on a cross, he, in order to get away with denying him, he cursed to try and act like he wasn't. He said, I'm not even part of these people, and denied even knowing the Lord. And then after the resurrection, and he had seen the Lord, and the Lord was trying to tell him to go to the Gentiles, he still couldn't understand. The only way the Lord could explain any of this stuff or get people's minds open to the truth, these amazing truths, is they had to receive the Holy Spirit. And you notice that after Christ died, it took 49 days and they all got the Holy Spirit. But that was a special outpouring. The Lord had prepared a group of individuals. Remember, he fed the 5,000, and then another time he fed 7,000. And we know that there was these groups of people that were his followers. By the time by the time the Pentecost came, there was a group of a few thousand people that were gathered there, and they got the Holy Spirit. They had been prepared and taught by the Lord himself. And they are the first fruits. Some of us may have actually been there. And so, don't think that any of this you can practice and learn on your own. You'd never figure this out without, you know, I guarantee you can read all the books and all the gurus and they have information that's true. Look at that bird up there in that tree. Isn't that a bird? Or is that just a... Yep, that's a big old owl. Look at that. Look, it might be an eagle or an owl. I can see it's moving. But the shadows are, you know, it looks black. I don't think that's another one sitting next to it. That's just by itself. It's hard not to jitter when I... There it goes, getting ready. Oh, that's got to be a big owl or an eagle or something. He's getting ready to go. He turned his head and looked at me. Sunbathing. Ah! Ah! He turned and looked at me there. Ah! Oh man, I'll have to sit here and hold this all day before that bird will fly. I wish he'd just fly right now so we could see his wingspan and how maybe we could see what kind it is. But I don't think that bird's gonna fly right away. But anyway, maybe it'll fly while I'm talking. But see if I focus it in. Oh, he's moved over now. No, he hasn't. I don't think he's gonna fly. Oh well. Alright, so we'll just kind of back off and see what he's doing while I'm talking here. But anyway, so this is an important part. This is how, well, I can't explain here in the next 5 minutes all of it. We talked about it the other day. Receiving everything with thanksgiving. There's another big old bird or something. I don't know what that is. Oh, it flew. There it is. There's 2 of them. I don't know what they were. Anyway, so there's a lot to this, but let me just tell you this part. This is what I've been doing since like I said, 7 or 8 months. Well, every time I picture this property, I pictured it the way I wanted it to be. And I pictured the cliffs and the bluffs and the trees just the way I wanted it, just the way it actually is. And I'd never been here before. I had no way to know what it would look like here, because if you look on it from Google Maps and you look down, all you're seeing is a flat surface. You can't tell how big the trees are. You can't even tell how many trees, because it doesn't give you the right perspective. I didn't know if there was a cliff or a bluff there at all. And here I get, after picturing it that way, right down to the Ponderosa where I was going to build the cabin, right to the right of this cliff where there might be a kind of a crack, which I pictured in my mind just about the way it is there. And it works. Whenever you doubt, what that means is that it's the way you see something in your subconscious or in your mind's eye, the way you see it is the way it will manifest. And we're not really aware that that's going to work that way. So if we sit around feeling sorry for ourselves, or thinking that we're sick, or thinking if we picture somebody a certain way, they might actually be that way to us when we get around them, because that's the way we're the energy we're giving them. And I think it probably works in relationships as well. But in the world, in bringing things to manifestation, you must picture and believe that things are going to be the way you know you deserve as a child of the Lord, and receive it with thanksgiving, with joy. Now, if you're saying, Lord, I ain't worthy of this, I'm sorry, I'm a sinner, and look, you can't keep saying you're a sinner, because the Lord's already forgiven you. And so you're calling him a liar if you do. If you don't believe you're worthy, then that's like a child. It's not even normal. A little kid a little child just receives the attention of their parents with joy and thanksgiving, with laughter and with acceptance. They don't, unless of course they've been abused or something. But our Heavenly Father doesn't abuse us. He gives us every beautiful thing we can dream for, and He's promised us that whatever we ask, we shall receive. But we have to receive it with thanksgiving, and we have to ask in faith and believe that we already have what we've asked for beforehand, and we shall. And I really do believe that's what it means to not doubt. The translation is, with faith, nothing doubting. But the word to doubt means literally to reason. The best way I don't know the exact English translation, but I say, do not reason it out. And if you want to even break it down further, it means don't use your conscious mind and look at the physical reality and assume that in your mind you're like, well, this can't happen. I'm looking at this. It's not, I'm praying for this or that, and it's not what it is. I'm looking at it with my own two eyes. I'm reasoning that, hey, why would somebody give me this, or why would I be able to purchase this, or why would it be so easy? That's not going to happen. That would be, the odds of that happen, there's 1 in 1,000. I'll never get that. Well, so now you're reasoning it out, and you're going against the principle of the reality of the universe, that everything that exists in this reality is a congealing of what we believe in our heart, whatsoever we think and then believe. So you can think of something, but it doesn't manifest until you have emotion and joy, and the things that we think are congealed with other thoughts that are put into a program. So like a computer program. You have information, but by themselves they do nothing. They need to be in a coded arrangement where each opens at the command of another thing. And they're in a certain program. And you open the program, and then you have the command files. But if you don't have that, then you don't get it. So in the world, you can just dream a dream at night, and it doesn't always manifest unless it's a real deep-seated knowing. It's the way you see it and always perceive it to be that way, and it will be that way. So the will is the most powerful thing we have. It's far more powerful than hope, of course. It's far more powerful than faith. It's the knowing. And the knowing and the will are kind of two different things, but they're both very, very powerful. And if you have a will for something to be, you say, you speak it, you intend for it, and you go forward toward it, you imagine it's going to be that way, and you don't reason it out and say, well, nah, it couldn't be that way. You just forget the reasoning, the human conscious mind. Crucify the five senses, those five kings on the five crosses that, like Joshua did to enter the promised land. And that's how you do it. Just picture what you want, keep it in your mind's eye. And when you start off, it's hard to keep it, because every time you look at something, you might see what others have portrayed, or what, the demons come and they influence you, the doubts, the fears, the anxiousness, and all this. So we have to overcome those doubts and fears by constantly remaining in our integrity and in our faith, and pursuing it and knowing it, practicing it, and it will manifest. This is exactly how this came to be. I've told you many different things that has led up to this property. When I was looking for this property, I didn't think there would be anywhere in the world that I could buy something anywhere close to this. The best I could have done for $100 a month is some acre of ground out in the middle of the Mojave Desert with no water, no trees, not even a blade of grass. Or it may be a blade of grass if I was lucky. Maybe in Nevada somewhere, or in far west Texas, by El Paso, out in the desert or something. But I ended up getting this property, which probably is worth 10 times more than what I paid for it, and with nothing down, even though the lady had agreed to let me have this property for $1,000, or for not $1,000, for nothing down, and then just pay the first month's payment, which is $100. Well, it did it again, guys. It keeps saying maximum recording time has been reached. Now, it never did that before. It always used to let me record as long as I wanted, so I don't know how to figure that out. I hate that when it stops right when I'm saying something and it's important. But whatever we were saying, it works. Just have faith and know in your heart, and don't let anybody steal it from you. Don't let your heart be depressed. I always said, that doesn't mean, I've always said, like if you're in a trash compactor, I give that illustration, and you've got 5 minutes to live, it's closing in, and you're going to die. I mean, it doesn't look like there's any way out of this, right? You're in a trash compactor, and unless you can find a switch somewhere inside that trash compactor, or scream and somebody hears you, you're going to die within maybe 5 minutes. It's closing in. So in that situation, you're not going to be able to, the flesh is going to get scared. You're going to panic. Your heart rate's going to increase. You can't stop that. The flesh is weak, and it always will be. The only thing you can do is you can succumb to that fear and just scream and wail and die and just, have no hope. Or you can say, no, I'm not going to listen, even in the face of this apparent death that I'm about to go through. I'm not going to believe this. I'm going to pray. I'm going to pray to my Heavenly Father, and I'm going to say, Father, please help me in Jesus' name. And stop thinking about all apparent contradictions. Stop reasoning and imagining what your fate is going to be, and start thinking about what you can do to get out of there. Okay. Now, even just on a logical basis, if you are able to concentrate and forget your heart rate and all this fear, and don't get paralyzed with fear, but just start thinking, you have a far better chance anyway if you just think about it that way. But you also, as you're being very calm, and in that moment of calmness, you say to the Lord, show me the way out. The Bible promises, Jesus told us, and the Bible says in the New Testament, several times, he will always give us the way out. With the trial comes the way out. So every time, no matter what happens, just stop, close your eyes, or reach that place of calm and say, it's okay. No matter what's going on, I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to sit down right now and leave it in the Lord's hands, and I'm going to ask for help. And just be calm and look around and start looking for the answer that the Lord's going to give you. He will just send you some way out of that situation, and it will occur. And then after it's all over, you'll find out that it's for our education, and we end up with a bigger blessing we could have even imagined, especially when we overcome these things. So let me just keep walking. This is the line here. It goes right through here. So I've got this little meadow down here, which is nice. This will be in this, when this gets green, that's a lot of grass. And I'm going to probably get a couple of goats, a male and a female. And hopefully they can breed. And they'll have all kinds of grass, brush to stuff to eat. And chickens. This is another thing I'm going to do real soon here. I'm going to go to the Tractor Supply or whatever they got. Similar to that here in Grant. They probably have a Tractor Supply. And ask them when they're going to get their little chickies in, because they usually get them in the spring. Okay, I figured it out, I think. It keeps going off, and I'm talking away and it's not recording. And it was because it was full. So I went in and deleted some stuff, but that didn't work because this phone keeps these files in various places. And you have to get to the root file or something to delete it. And I wasn't, So anyway, I think I can record for another few minutes to finish this. So I'm going to go in and get chickens. I think is the last thing I was saying. And then I thought, I wanted to show you the tree that I never did show you, the biggest one on the property I haven't showed you yet. So we'll go over and show you that. But yeah, this is where my truck is, and I come in, I blazed a little. I'm gonna have to get a saw and cut that out better. But it's just big enough to come in right for now. But anyway, this is where this big tree is here. And I'm going to probably have the cabin somewhere in this area. I don't know exactly, but right near this big tree. And then look at this. Look at this tree. Look how big around the butt is. The dog goes over there. You'll see how big it is. It would take 3 men with a ring around on the rosies. Look at the dogs in front of it. That's got to be from there to there, like 6 feet. So probably 15 feet around or more. And somebody's come out here and cut the branches, and there they are on the bottom. I think I was looking at that and I thought, well, why didn't they cut this one? And I was like, well, I'm glad they didn't, because I think I'll leave this branch and maybe make a little swing here, right here in the yard. And then there's a little oak grove, and kind of make a little yard here right under this tree. And then right up there is the bluffs. In the morning, get a cup of coffee and go up there and just sit and look off. Just amazing. But now that I get to looking, there's all kinds of oak trees. I didn't even notice it when I first got here. But like there's another little grove of oaks right there. And there's some right there. And I guess they do get bigger. You know, because we just see that one that's pretty darn big. These are getting pretty big here. So these will all have oak leaves on them. And acorns, probably. So I can use the acorns and harvest them. Because nuts are a big part of my life. I really think nuts are important. Nuts and beans. And meat. So, yeah, there it is. Paradise. And then there's like big old dead trees right over there. A big old dead tree. I don't know if you can. Of course, that's not on my property, but you get a tree that's been standing, that's been dead for a while, made out of that kind of hardwood. Actually, that's probably ponderosa. But that'd make good firewood or shingles or something. Shakes. Oh, man. I'll have to come out here too with a saw and start cutting some of the branches on these trees along the base, because that'll make them grow a little taller. And you can't, because when they're like that, you can't get in there. You can't enjoy them. You're losing a lot of ground that you could be walking on. That's one good thing with the goats. The goats will eat all the needles. The pine needles and the fir needles and everything, and the leaves, the oak leaves. All the way up as far as they can reach. So they're pruners. That's what they do. They prune trees. Look at that one. Now this is not on my property, but isn't that neat? Take a look at this, and then I'll let you guys go. I'm sure you got things to do. This won't get loaded until later on this afternoon probably, but I've got to get this up as soon as possible because I got a bunch of stuff I wanted. So many things to do now, now that I'm out here. And I did do a few things today. The most important thing was making sure I knew the perimeters. Boy. Oh, there's another big one. Oh man, it's like a monument or something. National monument. Oh my goodness. Do you see what I see on the top? Well, my phone did it again, shut off, so I don't know what's going on. I'll have to look into it. I think there's an update and they're just not allowing you to take longer videos now. Maybe Billy the Gate doesn't like me doing these videos. So I have to figure out what's going on with that. I was just gonna say, it's like a head there, a face at the top. There's an eyeball. It's different in the camera because it looks more shaded. But it almost looks like, you see the teeth? It looks like a bull with a horn on top. There's an eye socket, a nostril, and the teeth. And like a big old weird ear or something. Almost like the Taurus, the symbol of the sign of the, you know, we're going into Taurus now, the new. That's bull, the Taurus, the bull. It's a cherub from the Bible. And he's got a little horn or a hat or something on him. Isn't that neat? It's a cherub. It's kind of like the Sphinx, but the Sphinx, it was built thousands of years ago when Leo was yeah, there's the horn. From this angle, you can even see the horn on top. Just the way it should be. So, wow. There's a K, a J, 1918. Somebody was out here over 100 years ago, scribbling into the rock. And here's some other line. Huh. It's really neat. Saw something else as I went by over here. Gargoyles. Yeah, it would have been nice to have had this outcropping as well, because there's a big old tree over there. See, that almost looks like a gargoyle sitting up there. A couple of them, like dragons or something, standing there looking off, doesn't it? Huh. And there's a big tree up there on top of it, growing on top. Yeah, this is where I thought I saw a cave on the other side. And those are gargoyles, little dragons. That's that big tree. But actually, it's not as big as the ones we've seen on my property. Now that we've looked it all over. But it's the tallest ponderosa there. That's where the cabin's going to be. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close for now. Get this loaded. Got a lot of things to do. Pray the Lord will bless you guys, and keep you from all harm, and make your lives just the way you want them to be. We'll see you tomorrow. May the Lord bless you guys. Bye.